right, we're going to go over two more examples that use both of the formulas for volume. The first example says the volume of a rectangular prism is 45 cubic units. So that's my volume. The length is 2.5. The width is 6. What is the height? So because I see the three dimensions, length, width, and height, I'm going to go with that first formula that we learned. Volume equals length times width times height. And then the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to plug in the information that they give me. So my volume is 45. Length is 2.5 times my width, which is 6. And I don't know my height, so it stays an h. Hi, terrible h. There we go. And then I'm looking at an equation that I want to solve. I want to solve for h. So like we did in class, I'm going to split my equation down my equals into two different parts. All right, the first step I'm going to do is I'm going to combine these two. I can do 2.5 times 6. Okay, I'm going to do that in my calculator, 2.5 times 6, and that gave me 15. So now I have 15 times h equals 45. Okay, I'm still trying to get h by itself down here to figure out what that is. So I'm going to, instead of multiplying by 15, I'm going to divide by 15 on both sides. And that helps me because my 15s cancel out. That turns into a 1, and 1 times h is just h. Over on this side, I have 45 divided by 15, which gives me 3. So in the end, I have my height is equal to 3 units. Okay, so that was using that first formula, volume equals length times width times height. My second example says the volume of a rectangular prism is 47 1/4 cubic inches. So they gave me my volume. The area of the base is 13.5. Okay, so I'm looking at the information they're giving me, and they're giving me the area of the base, and they're giving me the volume. They want to know what the height is. So I'm going to use that second formula because I don't have a length and a width that they give me. So I'm going to say, well, the area of the base, which is that capital B, times the height. And then I plug in the information that I know. I know the volume is 47 1/4. I'm going to keep it as a fraction this time, see what happens. 47 1/4 equals the area of the base is 13.5. 13.5 times h. Okay, so now I'm looking at splitting my equation to 2 because I want to solve for h. Instead of multiplying by 3.5, I need to divide by 3.5, which means I'm going to have to be dividing mixed numbers, turning them into fractions and all that. So instead of that, I think I am going to switch it over to decimals. I think that might be easier. 47 1/4 is 47, and if I did 1 divided by 4, 1/4 would be 25 hundredths. 13.5 would be 13.5, and I'm still times h. So now I'm looking at it as a decimal. Instead of multiplying by 13.5, I'm going to divide each side by 13.5, 13.5. 13.5. Okay, 13.5 divided by 13.5 cancels out. 1h is h. And then I'm going to plug into my calculator, 47 25 hundredths divided by 13 5/10. And it gives me 3.5. So my height is 3.5 for that problem. Okay, the next problems are yours to try to go ahead and try on your own. Good luck.